Hey, friends, this is Bobby Shanks, author of the recently released book, Undateable. Also, just a really quick plug before we start today's episode, which I'm telling you is going to be, well, let's just say you better not have your kids in the room. And in some cases, you probably do, or maybe definitely do not want to have your significant other in the room because it's going to be pretty juicy today. So, quick announcement through the months since releasing my book and even before, it has truly amazed me the number of people from all over the country that have reached out to me simply to ask me my advice on certain scenarios, certain relationship, dating, you name it. And I've really, really had fun with that. It's been an incredible learning experience for myself as well. And so we are going to actually turn that into a dating coach type platform. So stay tuned for future announcements on that coming up actually very quickly. That ball is rolling and it'll be here by the end of January. Okay, so my show's producer, N. Brown, is off over here in the corner taking care of all the technical goodies. And today's topic, let's just dive right in, is there is a newer show that has been released on Netflix, and it's called Sex, Love, and Goop. And in this program, primarily hosted by Gwyneth Paltrow, one of my favorites, plays Pepper Potts to Tony Stark's Iron Man and the Avenger series. She talks about people's 5 erotic blueprint types. So, the way I want you to think about this before we get into all of the fun stuff is just about everybody's heard about the 5 love languages. Well, this is a very similar quiz that you can take, and we're going to post some stuff so that you can take it if you want to. I do recommend it. Um, but what it is it's basically your 5 languages for pleasure, erotic pleasure, sexual pleasure, whatever type you want to or words you want to put on it, but it's called your 5 erotic blueprint types. And here they are. And I'm going to briefly describe them before we take the quiz. And so here's the deal. I'm going to take the quiz right here live. You're going to be able to watch me. I'm going to show you the results. Um, and, we're just going to have some fun with this. So if you can see on my screen here, I'm at Miss Jaya.com, JAIYA.com. And of course, right here on the screen, you can see where it talks about the Netflix series, Sex, Love, and Goop. And here are the 5 blueprint types. Now, look, I'm going to try to keep this short because I want to get to the quiz because that's going to be the fun part. So I'm not going to go into a lot of in-depth on each one of these, but here it is in a nutshell. We're going to start on the left. Energetic. So, a person whose erotic blueprint type is energetic, this is a person who has to have really good energy. Not only energy with themselves, but even their environment. So, if you've ever known someone, or maybe a spouse, or call it what it is, a past lover, that they had to be in the right mood, they had to be the right time and the right place, and it's just very environmental, and they had to have just this right energy, like into their soul, in order for them to experience like the absolute pinnacle of erotic pleasure. That's that person. Someone who is sensual, you can see the second one here. This is a person who is very much likes the sensuality. And I mean, we're all adults here, so I hope I don't have to explain what I mean by sensuality. But this is a person who loves a very soft hand, a gentle touch, soft words, pillow talk, foreplay. They're just very, very sensual. They're very much into their own headspace. Um, but unlike the energetic, it doesn't necessarily have to be their in total environment or even how they feel completely themselves. It's about having a super sensual experience in that moment. I mean, it could be in a car, it could be in a closet, it could be in a bedroom, but it's really about how they feel in that moment with the person they're with and what their sensuality is. So much I could go into on that one. Anyways, next, as you could probably tell by the photo here, is sexual. This is a person, by the way, let me back up. Most often, as an average, now you guys know on this show, I don't deal in absolutes, I only talk about averages. A lot of women are going to test high in sensual. A lot of men are going to test high in sexual. Now, let me just dispel some rumors here. How you test on this when you're 25 versus 40 or 55 or 60 totally could be different. I consider this a snapshot, and this is an opportunity for you to learn a lot about yourself. If you are the type of person, okay, I'm pausing here because I want to explain this. If you are the type of person, as I have been, frankly, most of my life, um, or I'm going to say at least up until about the age of 40, where you feel like your erotic blueprint is just something that maybe you don't fully understand. And certainly, it is something that any person that you've been with in a significant relationship or other hasn't understood about you. This quiz is for you. It's very revealing. So there you go. Let's move on. Someone who is sexual in nature. This is going to be someone who doesn't require a lot of romance. You don't have to light the candles. We don't have to sit in the tub. There doesn't have to be a back rub. There doesn't have to be a date. You probably don't even need foreplay that lasts more than a couple minutes. This is your baby, you are smoking hot and I got to have you right now person. And by the way, where I kind of got off there a minute ago, forget about stereotypes. Yes, the average woman's probably going to test sensual. Yes, the average guy's probably going to test sexual. But I have administered this test to a handful of people who I shall not name. And I can tell you that there was one phenomenal lady that took this test, and she tested at 66% in kinky. Literally tested 0 in sensual. Crazy. So forget about stereotypes, men versus women, gender roles, submissive versus dominant. Forget about all that crap. Go into this quiz open-minded. All right, last two. Kinky. So everybody thinks of kinky as being like, Christian Grey, 50 Shades of Grey, The Red Room, whips, chips, chains, dips, blindfolds, costume, role playing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And yes, that is one of 2 elements of kinky. The second element of kinky is totally psychological. So this is where I'm okay. I'm going to role play with you. This is where, for example, your significant other could just talk about really kinky or taboo scenarios in your ear, like maybe whispering, right? You could be sitting at the bar. You've all seen it, right? Or I don't know. I've done it, but I hope you've at least seen somebody do it where, you can tell the woman or the man is leaning into the other person's ear and like they're there for a minute or two. That is a form of psychological kinky eroticism. So stay tuned on that, more to come. Last and definitely not least is the shapeshifter. Now, here's the thing about the shapeshifter. The shapeshifter is the chameleon of the 5 erotic blueprints. The shapeshifter, someone who tests high or dominant in shapeshifter, is a person who can be in any erotic blueprint. Now, I want to point out, and when we get to my test results, I'll show this to you so that you can. I'm just going to be an open book. I'm going to be totally transparent. I might even be a little embarrassed. I don't know. We'll see. But There are pros and cons to each. I'm going to make 2 points here. One, there are pros and cons to each of these erotic types, like anything. Number 2, and this is probably the most important thing. There is no such thing as 2 erotic blueprints being more compatible or less compatible than any other. The point here is this is your blueprint, and the better that you understand it, and if you have a significant other who you feel, or maybe they feel, has like this wildly different blueprint, I can promise you a teeny tiny little communication, especially if the two of you have incredible, like just hungry desire and chemistry for each other. All of these are completely compatible with the other, and it'll work just fine. Okay, so on that note, there's a brief overview. We're going to jump right into the quiz here. I can't remember how many questions it is, um, but hopefully you can see. Oh, it's 24 questions, and we're going to zoom through these just as quick as we can. So here we go. There are different ways to use the erotic blueprints in relationships. What is your relationship status? Well, I am single. Gender can play a role in how you respond when receiving and giving in your erotic blueprint. How would you describe your gender? Well, today I am all male. Where are you from? Okay. Today I identify as United States of America. All right, here we go. I am most turned on when plenty of time to indulge, feel comfortable and relax. I'm experiencing extreme variety from an intense sensation. Uh, ooh, definitely this. I'm experiencing variety, intense sensation. That's definitely huge for me. Kissing, lots of emotional connection. Oh my gosh, that's me to a T. Okay. I am most turned on when a lover's lips hover close to mine. I'm turned on by the anticipation. Okay. I'm watching sex and seeing naked, turned on bodies. Definitely this one. I am most turned on when I'm doing something I consider edgy, naughty, or taboo. I'm immersed in a beautiful environment with fragrances, blah, blah, blah. Both sound nice, but this is like 100% me right here. Okay, more of I'm most turned on when I feel connected to the sacredness and spirituality of union and something greater than myself. Sex is simple, easy, and down to business. I can assure you, I have never thought of sex as being simple, easy, and down to business. So that's me right there. I am most turned on when I'm playing a game of surrender to or in total control of a partner, or I am eye gazing or breathing with a partner and our hearts feel open and connected like we are one together. Ooh, I'm going to go with both on that one. Both for sure. Okay. Most turned on. It's romantic. I'm being wooed, or I am wooing someone and I feel special. Or we just go for it. Direct genital touch is happening with certainty, and we are heading to penetration. Oh. Mm. I'm gonna have to go with both. I am most turned on when handcuffs, ropes, blindfolds, edgy play toys, etc. Or 2, climax is guaranteed either on my own or when we reach it together. Definitely going to say both on that one. Again, most turned on when being teased for a long time. I get the space to yearn for sexual connection, or there is touch all over my body and my insatiable appetite for creative erotic play. Ooh, okay. We're pushing the edges. It's pretty impossible to find my limits. This they should actually have my name in parentheses on this one right here. Okay. I am most turned on when sex feels never ending with many waves of change, creativity, intensity, or it's clear who is leading, who is submitting, who is in what role during our hot interaction. I love clear power dynamics. I am a huge both on that one. Being honest. Most turned on when a lover's body is pressing against me and we're melting into each other. There's no space between us. That's a huge me. Many hands all over my body, overwhelming in a good way. Well, like I can go for this if it's in a monogamous sort of way. That's just kind of how I roll. But I'm going to stay true to the response. So this would not apply to me. I'm going to go to this one right here. All right. When it comes to sexual interaction, okay. So the questions finally change. When it comes to sexual interaction, I mostly crave the experience of transcendence, ecstasy, or full body awakening, or movie scene, romantic love, experiencing epic love affairs like Romeo and Juliet, dramatic scenes, love fulfilled, thank swans, and swelling music. Okay, that's not me. Like I get it. I definitely have a sensual side to me, but definitely more so this one, the first one. All right. When it comes to sexual interaction, I mostly crave a full presence to the moment, my partner being fully present to my body, heart, and soul. Next, being acknowledged, appreciated, and accepted for my high sex drive, desires, and need for sex. That is a huge both. Huge both. Like those answers are 100% equal. So both. When it comes to sexual interaction, I mostly crave amazing touch, massage, deep pleasure in my body, or total acceptance for what I think are my out of box sexual desires. Both. All right. Endless. Okay. When sexual interaction, what do I crave? A, endless, timeless erotic sessions when I am fed in all ways, when my hunger is seen as a superpower instead of as overwhelming or too much. Can I get an amen? Next, scratching, slapping, squeezing, holding, being held down. Probably more so the first one. Okay. Oh, when it comes to my sexuality, I struggle most with being caught up in my head, thinking too much or having performance anxiety, feeling shame or hiding my sexual desires to feel super not. I, I'm choosing to be transparent here. I would say that this second item, for the most part, probably describes my entire lifetime from probably 9 or 10 years old. How's that for truth? Next, I struggle most with getting the amount of sexual intercourse and climaxes I want, or B, experiencing pleasure during a lot of physical sensation and speaking up when things aren't feeling right or I'm going numb. I never I can definitely not ever say number 2. But number 1, definitely. Definitely. All right. When it comes to sexuality, I struggle most with my lover being too nice in the bedroom. I want to be taken. I want to play naughty, but fear being judged. Or 2, I'm always the one shifting in order to please my partner. It seems like I don't know how to get my needs met. Absolutely the second one. Yeah, without a doubt, the second one for me. When it comes to sexuality, I struggle most with A, I'm bored. I need more variety and things feel pretty stale. 2, I get close to orgasm and a thought comes in to disturb me, the things that need to be done, and I'm doing it right. Am I doing it right? My partner isn't doing it right, etc. Um, neither. Neither for me. When it comes to my sexuality, I struggle most with being rejected when it comes to my need for sexual intercourse and my turn on. Definitely have had a lifetime of that experience. A lack of presence, sacredness, and understanding that sex is more than just a physical act. Both. Oh, here we are. Okay. Enter your first name. Um, okay. I probably want to keep my email confidential. I thought I already put in my email address. Let's do this one. Okay. I cannot type on this. All right. Complete the quiz. Okay. So, what it says is my primary erotic blueprint type is kinky. And then there's a little video here, which we're going to postpone. But here, there is something very specific that I want to share with people. I have taken this test before. I am very well grounded on what my erotic blueprint is. But here's something that's really cool that I think everybody here will really appreciate is after you take this little assessment, they send you this 25 to 35 page PDF report and it talks to you about what your erotic blueprint is. It gives you your pros and cons. And so, because mine apparently is kinky, we are going to talk about mine. And by all means, if you choose to take this quiz, even if you don't post anything online, would you please direct message me and send me, if you want to, if you're comfortable, your quiz result as it specifically displays on the screen right here in front of me. I'm interested in gathering, especially from people that I feel like I have a relationship with, people I know, friends, your quiz results as a percentage, right? So it's like a pie graph. Now, here's the thing that's really interesting about me. Let me keep scrolling here. This is what I look like in each category. Now, I have had several people that have taken this quiz alongside me, and I have shared my results with them. This has all been one on one, so the others don't, excuse me, don't know about each other. I'm intellectual property, confidentiality. I'm weird like that. Um, but almost, well, actually, yeah, everybody that took this quiz, and I'm just using me as a comparison, had a super like the lowest percentage person that I've seen that took this quiz on their pie graph was like 33, 34% in one specific category. The highest that I saw somebody in a very specific category was 66%. And that same person also tested 0% in another category, which I talked about earlier in this video. Um, Out of everybody that I've done this with, the thing that's most interesting about my percentages, my pie graph here, is I'm fairly equally distributed across all erotic profiles. Um, I'm learning more about what that means. Um, Although it did curve me in the direction of as far as placing me in the container of kinky, which I think is a pretty good place for me. But at the same time, you'll notice on my pie graph that I scored equally in both sensual and energetic. And oddly enough, I guess this is my total chick nature. I don't know. Um, I mean, I'm about as manly as you can get as far as I'm concerned. In the one category that men score the highest in, like 40, 50, 60 percentile, was my lowest. Super interesting. Now, the one thing that's really cool about this, let me just kind of go through this here so you can check it out. Um, what are your superpowers in your blueprint? So, kinkies bring never ending heat, taboo, and creativity to sexual experience. Totally describes me. Um, and I mean, this report's huge, so we're not going to go through all of this. Oh, and the thing about kinky is this is out of all of the others, kinky actually has two categories, which I talked about earlier. One is psychological, which you can read here in this red square if you want to scan that for a minute. There's some really interesting scenarios, and as you read those, you can see that they're very psychological based. They don't necessarily deal with actual touch or role playing or anything like that. This is one person's psychological communication. I'm not going to say manipulation, but it's when one person is open to another person really getting deep, 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 deep into their head, because they allow it, for the purposes of sexual pleasure. Totally get that. Um, Here's the next one. If you're a sensation based kinky person, this is going to be your Christian Grey, 50 Shades of Grey type thing. I would say if I had to measure myself on these two, I'm probably 60-40. 60% psychological, 40% sensation, but I could swing either one of those pendulums either way, just environmentally or current circumstance dependent. But as an average, I would say 60-40. Oh, there's some fun stuff there. Again, this is not the episode for kids. All right, some of your superpowers. You can reach heights of turn on, pleasure, and orgasm from simply playing in the mind. Yes, true. You are able to access non-ordinary states of consciousness by going deep into surrender, control, or intense sensations. Huge yes. Creative with a whole abundant world to uncover. Yes. Um, you know what? I want to talk about. Here's this one's a good one. This is something I would say is very, very not mainstream. It is an animal that I understand. You can train someone, or you can be trained to orgasm on demand. Let me tell you, that is not for beginners. All right. I want to talk about the shadows. Okay. So the shadows um are the cons. And I'm glad that they use the word shadow rather than pros and cons. Let's talk about the first one here: feelings of deep shame, guilt, or judgment about your turn ons and desires in the taboo realm. I can tell you that anybody who tests as a kinky in their erotic blueprint has probably felt that sentiment to the innermost depths of their soul at least since puberty, if not before. So, if you are in a significant, if you are in a monogamous relationship, I don't even care what relationship you're in. If you do this with somebody that you're in a relationship with, and you test, kinky, or the other person tests kinky, and the other person tests as sensual, or something that maybe might feel a little more mainstream, I can tell you that one of the number one things that you can do to make your significant other, the person who tests as kinky, to feel safe, accepted, desired, wanted, needed, is to go into it knowing that they have spent a lifetime suppressing their erotic behavior, desire, temptations, whatever, even in the context of a marriage. And they absolutely do have feelings of shame and guilt and judgment. And if you could talk to them about that and give them a sense of comfort, and even be willing, right? So, chapter 20 of my book, Willing versus Worthy, if you can be willing to adapt, right? So, that's part of the shapeshifter to what they are. And here's the thing: it doesn't have to be like every single sexual session. It could be once a week, it could be once a month, whatever works for you as a couple, but it's really just about acknowledging that. All right. Let's see here. Um oh, here's a good one. You may experience an emotional or energetic drop after having an epic session, sexual experience. This is also known as top drop for a dominant, or a sub drop for someone who, identifies sexually as a submissive. There's a whole other realm of conversation here, so just go with it. And is one of the reasons why aftercare is vital and necessary. Here's the deal about kinkies. Not again, no absolutes, but you put two kinkies together. I mean, it's a nuclear bomb. It is it is an absolute explosion. And yeah, I have experienced that. And I'm thankful that I've had that experience. Um but you take someone who's a kinky, like let's say me as a man, definitely identify as a kind of a manly man, country boy, whatever. Um, and if I'm with someone who's more of like, let's say, a sensual, after all of the fun is done, a kinky can actually consider that aftercare as just as good as the erotic sexual intercourse session that preceded it, um, because um, they want to feel like they have well, basically been accepted. All right, let's keep rolling here. I'm not going to get into safe words and all of that stuff. That you can read your own report or go online and read that to your heart's content. Um, hmm. Nope, I don't want to get into that. That's not fun. Um, Here's a good one. Here are a variety of ways to feed your kinky. Deep acceptance of your turn-ons. And then here's your normal, what people would think of as your 50 Shades type kinky. Scratching, pinching, erotic wrestling, spanking, of course, flogging, being held down. Here's more one that's more like along the psychological explicit talk, while being, even either heavily touched, like it could be light fingernail scratching, or it could even be something really intense. But it could also be something that's like super feather light. Full body constriction, very awesome. Dominance and submission games, which by the way can be fun, like they can be funny. Anyways, great stuff here. Um, Gosh, just so much good stuff. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump ahead here. This is a very important part of this report, and I think we'll wrap up on this. In this report, it talks about, so like me, I tested as a kinky, and in the very last pages of this report, it will talk about me, as you can see on the screen here, with an energetic. So if my significant other is an energetic when I'm a kinky, it actually goes into how you can work together to have this amazing erotic experience. Um, you know what? I'm actually going to talk about the sensual one here. This one's kind of fun. Um, Sensuals. Okay. So again, sensuals are stereotypically what you would think about, very soft, slow, sensual, very environmental. But it says right here, this is especially true if the sensual is really open to intense sensation and the kinky is a sensation based kinky. Um, well, that speaks for itself. Um, Because both of these blueprints can go into deep body play and are not so much focused on the intercourse itself, right? The actual sex act. There's an endless world of creativity to explore. Totally, 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 totally agree with that. So as you get through your report and you go down through here, um, you can actually look at yourself compared to your other types, and you can get some great advice for yourself. And I definitely want to encourage you to take your time when you're taking this little quiz. Um, Perhaps a little word of warning here. Just because you are really excited about this information doesn't mean your significant other will be. And so I want to caution you that if this looks like something fun for you to do on a date night or sitting on the couch watching, your favorite crime movie, um, give that other person the space that they need to take this assessment if they ever do it, um, when the timing is right for them. However, that doesn't stop you from doing it. And it doesn't even stop you from sharing with your significant other what your results would be. Again, this is one of those situations, and if you're already in a relationship where maybe you kind of feel like these types of topics are where you're walking on ice, you already know what I'm talking about. I've had plenty of experience in that relationship dynamic, so I get it. Just remember, less is more. All right, Ian, we're going to wrap that up. Today's episode, the 5 erotic blueprint types. Super fun information. Again, this is not going to determine, who you are in the bedroom or everything that pleases you erotically or just pleasure or foreplay or whatever. It's a snapshot. It gives you an idea. It's going to give you some wind direction, and it's going to open your eyes to a topic or topics that would be really helpful to you, like me as a single person. But even if you are in a monogamous relationship or married or whatever. So take your time taking the quiz, get the results. I do recommend that you pay the $17. So yeah, this is one of those online quizzes that actually costs money. Totally worth it. And because the free one they offer doesn't give you the report, doesn't give you all the information. Pay the $17. You'll be glad you did it. Good luck out there. I will say, in my experience in the last year, having done, oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't know. Hundreds of hours at this point of conversations and interviews with men and women, fairly equally distributed across the country and abroad. Um, Most people feel that they have a sexual inadequacy of some type for whatever reason. Most people feel like they have sexual needs that are unmet. This little assessment can help you begin to understand what those things are, perhaps why, even thinking as far back as your early childhood, which is where I've gone with this. And if you're lucky enough to have a significant other who will do this alongside with you, high five, because I think it's a great couples exercise. And I am dying to hear what your thoughts are in the comments to this post. So have fun, be safe. Um, Sex is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be give and take. And if you feel like you're at a point in your life where your sexual needs are unmet or misunderstood, this little quiz is a great place for you to start. Thank you for watching. We will see you again soon.